We are here with the Louboard, the world's smallest electric skateboard. And it's certainly small, and it's certainly sleek. But does it skate well? Today, we're going to find out. Okay, so here we have it, the Louboard from SoFlo. Now this box is a lot smaller than the boxes we're used to, so this thing should be a cinch to unbox. Razor blade out, let's see what we get inside. I'm missing the line here, let's give that another shot. Now usually with these e-boards, you get another box inside. So I don't know if this is going to be the case this time, but let's find out. And what a surprise! This box actually looks pretty nice. Okay. Now one thing they didn't scrimp on the Louboard is the graphics on the box. They look pretty nice. I think this guy is the founder, and this is probably his girlfriend. Or maybe his sister. Who knows? You can see a lot of work's gone into this packaging. Alright, so here's the Louboard, and in purple, this thing looks pretty awesome. And it seems to have some kind of little pouch attached. We're going to open that up in a second, see what we get inside. So inside the little surprise bag, what do we got? I kind of like the packaging here. We've got a little velvet purse. We've got a lovely logo. And we've got the remote. To be fair, this remote feels pretty cheap. We'll try it out in a little bit. We've got a skate tool, pretty standard, and a USB cable. Pretty minimal really. The manual for this thing is thick. Looks like some serious work has gone into the manual. Although half of it seems to be German, French, and other languages. Now the deck of this Louboard, it almost seems like it's coming off already. And that's what we've got inside. Let's put the deck back on. .7, changing the deck. So on the bottom of the deck of the Louboard, we seem to have some kind of plastic strips. And they seem to fit onto the plastic strips on the board. Now, I don't know, I better read the manual because this deck, I think you gotta press these fastener strips right down. But even then, you know, it kind of feels like the whole deck, the whole plastic deck bit is going to come off. To remove the deck, there's a small notch on the tail which you can loosen the deck and pull the board out with your fingers. Okay, so these things don't seem to be fastening very well. Let me have a little look. Fasten? Really, Louboard? That's what you call fasten? I mean, I guess it's on. Doesn't seem very sturdy to me. Alright, so what else do we get inside here? It looks like we've got some other kind of box. Get my knife, open this thing up, and it's the charger. No UK plug, luckily I've got an adapter. Now maybe if I stand on this deck it's going to fasten a little bit better. I don't know, but it certainly feels nice having a little penny board to play with. Now on the top of the Louboard, we have this rubberized deck plate. It's not exactly got grip tape on it, but it's got these little rubber crosses which seem to grip pretty well. I chose purple because I thought it looked the best, and I think you'll agree This board looks awesome, as does the logo. I was a little bit worried about how well this deck plate would hold down, but since I stood on it, it seems to be a lot more robust. These deck plates are actually swappable and seem pretty easy to swap them, which means you can get different colors and designs. I think we've got to say that's a great feature. We turn this board over, it's got a nice sleek unibody design. The wheels at the front look about 80mm to me, I guess, and the front trucks, they look pretty standard. It's got a nice weather sealed charging port, pretty standard too, and the logo down here with a little warning. I belong to a skater. Messing with me can be hazardous to your health. I guess that depends on the skater. Here we have another standard PU wheel and a single hub motor. Now this is actually the Louboard 1.0, given that this costs around $500 and the Louboard 3.0 with 2 hub motors costs about $1,000, I thought this would be the best one to review because it would probably be the one that most people would buy. Now this is the remote of the Louboard and it feels super light. It's got a little switch back here for riding mode, and when we press it, a little light comes on. Now I gotta say the trigger, it feels super flimsy, but we're gonna reserve judgment for when we're out there riding it. At only 4.8 kilograms, this little guy is gonna be dead easy to carry. We're gonna take it out into the streets and see if it performs as good as it looks. So it's a super sunny day, we've headed down to the park, and carrying this Louboard is really easy. About 4.5 kilograms, it's only a little bit heavier than one of my regular skateboards. So, really nice to carry, looks good, let's give it a shot. Alright, so we are out here with the Louboard. Let's get this thing on. The only problem I've got here is it doesn't actually seem to be a power button. I guess you gotta what, spin the wheel or... Give me a sec to figure this out. Alright, so I figured out if I turn the remote on, straight away the board comes on. No need to press any power button. It's pretty good. I just hope when the remote goes off, the board turns off as well, or else I'll be wasting a load of power. Now, according to the manual, this little board has a range of about 7 miles, which is pretty spectacular for a board this slick. It's about the same as the boosted board. We'll see if that's true in a little bit. It also says it's got a max speed of 17 miles an hour, which might not seem fast for the average electric skateboard, but given how small this deck is and how small the stance is going to be on this deck, that's going to seem pretty fast. Now, it doesn't look like this board has any flex at all, but just to confirm, and no flex at all. Now, given how small this thing is, let's put my helmet on, and the remote, let's turn this on. Okay, let's give this little board a shot. Okay, so first off, these trucks are way too loose. I'm wobbling all over the place. I'm gonna have to sort this out straight away. Alright, I gotta tighten these trucks up straight away. Straight up, that feels a lot better already. At least I'm stable on this thing. Going down a little bit of a hill now. Time to test the brakes. And the brakes are really weak. For For a guy my weight, I'm practically feeling no brakes at all. So we're just doing a bit of a hill climb now, and straight away we're struggling. This board, it's not getting up this hill with me on it. And to be perfectly honest, it's not much of a hill either. Now with this board, I've decided to take the pavement rather than the road. It just doesn't feel safe being on the road with a tiny board, little stance, and brakes. They really do very little for me. I think as far as commuting goes, if you've got a very short distance to go, this thing's a lot of fun. But if you're going to go up hills or you're going to go a few miles, I think you'll struggle with a board like this. Whoa! And you feel every bump in the road with these tiny hub motors. Now the speed on this board is actually pretty good. As long as you're going down a hill or on a really flat surface, maybe you could hit 17 miles an hour on this board. But the minute you hit a hill going up, this thing slows down totally. You want to make sure you're on nice smooth roads with the Louboard. I'm starting to wonder what the real purpose of the Louboard is. It's certainly not a commuter board, but it is light. Maybe the best place for this board is the skate park. I'm actually amazed we just made it up that hill. To be fair, when you're at the skate park, you've already got the ball. You don't really need an electric skateboard. So after riding around on this thing for a little while now, what's my final verdict on this remote? Not very impressed. Same as I started with. Feels flimsy, feels like if I push too hard, this remote trigger could easily break off. So let's start off with the good points of this board. It's an excellent travel board, it's really small, and you can just throw it over your shoulder or your backpack, and you're good to go. If you travel a lot, this board's good for you. Another good thing about this board is, it just looks awesome. With the purple deck and the sleek body, it just looks good. IP rated, which means it's waterproof. Although I've got some doubts with how easy this deck comes off. So the charge time for this board, it wasn't bad at 2.5 hours, which is pretty average, but it's longer than you'd think for a battery this size. It got close to its documented top speed, hitting about 16 miles an hour, but I've got to say that was only on the flat. Now let's get on to the not so great things about this board. It's just got no torque, no power. If your commute is maybe a flat ride along the beach, something like that, this board is a lot of fun, and it's quite fast. But if you have to go up hills, even a moderate hill is going to make this thing slow to a crawl. Given its small size and how hard these wheels are, means you have to have a really narrow stance. And also, the wheels being hard means you feel every bump in the road. It's not a very comfortable commuter board for those that need to go over rough ground. And the remote, well, I said at the start it felt flimsy and cheap, and I've not really changed my opinion. I wasn't a big fan of the remote. The only thing I did like was, there's no power switch on this board, so you have to bend down and turn it on. So given the price of about $450, $500, would I buy this board? Well, personally, this thing is a bit too small for me. It didn't quite get a guy my size up the hill very well. And I couldn't really see myself riding along with my friends on this kind of board, or going for long commutes in the city. But what I would say for this thing is, it's super small, and it looks great. I can definitely see a lot of travel situations where this would be an excellent board.